Hey, what's up everyone? This is Zach and I am here with an album review for you guys, and we are continuing with the Asia discography, the Asia series of reviews. And so now we have reached the end of an era. This album that we are talking about for this review, this is the last studio album from Asia to have John Payne in the band. And that album is Silent Nation, which released in 2004. And unfortunately, yeah, this was the final Asia album with John Payne in the band. And I know a lot of Asia fans were very happy to know that the original lineup would be returning. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a big fan of John Payne's vocals, and I do like just about everything that John Payne has done, whether that's his work with Asia or GPS or Dukes of the Orient. I think all the stuff that he's done is solid. I'm just a big fan of his work overall, so. And I am one of those fans that does prefer the John Payne era of Asia over the John Wetton era of Asia, which I know is unpopular, but I'm going to keep saying it, folks. I don't understand the John Payne hate. I really don't. I mean, yeah, him and Wetton are two completely different singers, but I don't know what it is about the John Payne era that people just straight up dislike. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it because I really dig the John Payne era of Asia. So unfortunately, yeah, this was the last Asia album with John Payne. Now, I know that John Payne is doing his own version of Asia, which is Asia featuring John Payne, but yeah, and apparently we're getting a new album from Asia featuring John Payne, and also a new album from the OG Asia. So we could have two new Asia albums on the way, so that's really cool. But for right now, we're talking about Silent Nation, and the more we talk about this being the final album with John Payne, the more I'm going to cry about it. I'm going to shed some tears over that. But yeah, but Silent Nation, I do like this album. I think there's many great songs on this album. I mean, I don't think there's really a bad song on this album, but of course, like with any album, there's songs that are better than others. I think I do know what my favorites and least favorites are on this album, and let's first go ahead and talk about the album cover, which is definitely different for Asia. It looks nothing like an Asia album. Like, when you look at the album art, it's like, what is this? Like, it has a very sci-fi twist to it, and yeah, definitely different type of artwork, which is cool. I don't mind it. It's a different twist, so that's kind of cool, I guess. And even the sound that Asia was going for on this album is slightly different from what they've done before. Less synth work, less poppy and keyboard driven. I mean, there still is some of that on this album, for sure. Don't get me wrong, but it's more of a rock album. Like, it definitely sounds more like a rock album than the other Payne albums with Asia, of course. But yeah, this album has 10 songs, so let's go ahead and go over the track listing here. We've got What About Love, which opens up this album, and I think it's a solid album opener, and right away, when you listen to the song, you know what you're in for. It's a great track. And then we've got Long Way From Home, which I believe was the one single from this album, and it is a fan favorite from this album. This is probably the song that most people remember from this album, Long Way From Home, and yeah, it's a great song. I think the guitar work really stands out, and John Payne's vocals are solid. He sounds great in this song, and the chorus, very memorable too. So Long Way From Home, definitely a highlight from this album. And then we've got Midnight, which, I'll be honest, maybe one of my least favorites on this album, but not a bad song. And then we've got Blue Moon Monday, which is a very unique song. I really dig the instrumentation in the song, especially later in the song when you get those acoustic guitars. That orchestral sounding section of the song, I think, really stands out. It's very unique. But yeah, Blue Moon Monday, definitely a solid song from this album. Do dig that one. And then we've got the title track, Silent Nation, which seems to be another fan favorite from this album. And yeah, Silent Nation is a great song. It's got a really good chorus. And then we've got Ghost in the Mirror, which is a song that doesn't really get brought up a whole lot. But you know what? I like this song. I think it's got a great chorus. And John Payne sounds great. So yeah, I do like that song. And then we've got Gone Too Far, which is more of a ballad-like song. And yeah, great instrumentation, solid vocals from John Payne. You can tell that he's giving it his all in that song with the emotion that he delivers. And it's just, all in all, very solid track. And then we've got the song I Will Be There For You, which is a good song. And I really dig Chris Slade's drumming on that track. And I think John Payne sounds pretty good vocally on that song. It definitely has a chorus that you will remember. And then we've got Darkness Day, which is, well, a dark sounding song. And I really like where this song goes musically. And I think John Payne sounds very good vocally on that track. Some great vocals from him. And then we've got the closing track, The Prophet, which is one of my least favorites on this album along with Midnight, but it's still a decent track and a decent way to wrap up this album. Now, there is actually a bonus track, which unfortunately is not featured on this version of the album, and that song is called Rise. Why that song wasn't featured on the standard edition of this album is beyond me, because I think of the entirety, like, if we're including that song, like, that's one of the best songs on the whole album. Like, I really like the song Rise. It's got some great instrumentation, great vocals from John Payne, and definitely catchy. So overall, I think Silent Nation is a solid album. It's a solid rock album, and I don't mind the direction that they went in with this album. So, of course, you have the guys in the band here with their mouths taped up, and you've got John Payne there, you've got Chris Slade, Jeff Downes, and Guthrie Govan. And I think all the musicians, they did great on this album. Of course, this album really did give Guthrie Govan especially a chance to shine. His guitar work really does stand out on this record. As far as my favorites go, I mean, I would say Long Way From Home, Blue Moon Monday, the title track, Ghost in the Mirror, and Darkness Day. Solid songs for sure. But again, I think the whole album is solid from start to finish. I mean, there's not really a weak track on this album. But as far as Asia goes, I mean, they've definitely had a few albums that were better than this. But still, Silent Nation, a strong album, and great musicianship from the band. And again, unfortunately, this would be the last Asia album with John Payne, and this lineup in particular, of course, before the reunion. So let me know what you think of Asia's album, Silent Nation. I think it's a very good album. If I were to give this album a rating or a score, I would give this album probably an 8 out of 10, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. A strong album for sure. So let me know what you think of Silent Nation by Asia. So with that said, thank you for watching, take care, and have a good one.